Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. My name is Demelza Abbott-Scott, and I'm a member of the development team at St Hilda's College. Welcome to our first Community Week event, the Round Oxford Quiz. I would like to start by saying a big thank you to our librarian, Jill Dye, who has put this quiz together, and to our behind-the-scenes volunteers who will be marking your answers. Now, I am delighted to introduce our host for the evening, although she needs very little introduction. Widely known as the Queen of Crime, Val McDermid has collected many awards for crime fiction and sold over 16 million books worldwide. Val is the perfect person to host tonight's quiz, having shown her prowess on multiple occasions, including in BBC Radio 4's Round Britain quiz, and very memorably, as captain of the victorious St Hilda's University Challenge team. That is the alumni team, I should add. So you are in very capable hands, and without further ado, I will hand over to Val.
Hello, good evening. It's 7 o'clock and I want to rock, but instead I'm quiz mistress for the evening. I hope you're going to enjoy yourselves. We've got some lovely questions lined up for you. Now, you can play along just for fun. Lots of people like a quiz and don't feel the need to be ferociously competitive. I don't entirely understand that myself, but I'm told it's possible. However, you can also submit your answers in an online form, which will be marked by the volunteers behind the scenes, and we'll give you an update on the scores as we go. Now, if you are submitting, don't forget to use a consistent team name, or indeed a consistent name of your own at the end of the form. And one, of course, that we can read out. Some people try to get quite clever in these situations, and us poor quiz inquisitors find ourselves having to read out something that we don't realise is actually quite rude until we've said it. So I know that you're not those kind of people. I know you're not going to let me down, but make sure I can read it out without being embarrassed. So there will be 4 rounds tonight. You'll need a new form for each round, and links will be posted in the chat. So if there's anything you're not sure about or anything you want read again, just tell us in the chat and we will pick it up from there. So we're going straight into round 1, and round 1 is literature. So these are questions that have some link to Oxford or St Hilda's in them, and they deal with the subject of, as I said, literature. The first question: which St Hilda's alumna did Philip Larkin describe as the most underrated writer of the 20th century? Which St Hilda's alumna did Philip Larkin describe as the most underrated writer of the 20th century? The second question: at the recent St Hilda's virtual garden party, Sir Philip Pullman confirmed which Oxford college inspired St Sophia's in the His Dark Materials series. Which college was it? Which college did Philip Pullman admit at the St Hilda's virtual garden party had inspired St Sophia's in His Dark Materials? Question number 3. Which St Hilda's alumna and multi-award winning author set many of her books in Greece, including The Island and Those Who Are Loved? Which St Hilda's alumna and multi-award winning author sets many of her books in Greece, including The Island and Those Who Are Loved? Question number 4. The fictional bibliol and cardinal colleges appear in which 19th century novel? Which 19th century novel features the fictional bibliol and cardinal colleges? Question number 5. A lost work by which Spanish artist is the subject of The Vanishing Man by alumna Laura Cumming? Alumna Laura Cumming wrote a book called The Vanishing Man, which deals with a lost work by which Spanish artist? Question number 6. In 2013, St Hilda's honorary fellow wrote a modern reworking of Jane Austen for the Austen Project. Name that author. Who wrote a modern reworking of a Jane Austen novel for the Austen Project, an honorary fellow of the college? Question number 7. Which children's author is buried in Holywell Cemetery? Which children's author is buried in Holywell Cemetery? Question number 8. In 2017, St Hilda's alumna Bethany Hughes published a book with the subtitle A Tale of Three Cities. But which singular city is the book about? In 2017, Bethany Hughes, St Hilda's alumna, published a book with the subtitle A Tale of Three Cities. But which singular city is the book about? Question number 9. An informal literary discussion group associated with the University of Oxford in the 30s and 40s included C.S. Lewis, Adam Fox, and J.R.R. Tolkien. What did they call themselves? An informal literary discussion group associated with the university in the 30s and 40s. Members included C.S. Lewis, Adam Fox, and J.R.R. Tolkien. But what did they call themselves? I'll give you a wee clue. It wasn't the Bullingdon Club. And question number 10, the final question in this round. Which St Hilda's alumna is famous for writing Sexual Politics, published in 1970? Which St Hilda's alumna is famous for writing Sexual Politics, published in 1970? And that is the end of the literature round. If there are any questions you would like me to repeat, please let us know now. Otherwise, finish filling in your answer sheets and submit them, and we'll move along shortly. The answers to this round, by the way, will come after the next round of questions. We've got a bonus question for you just for fun while you're submitting your forms and opening the next form. It's a wee bonus question just for fun. Question: how many meters would you have to walk to get from Carfax Tower to St Hilda's College Library? You can guess in the chat, buy yourself some time. And until someone needs question 9 repeated. Question number 9. There was, in the 1930s and 40s, an informal literary discussion group associated with the University of Oxford. Its members included C.S. Lewis, Adam Fox, and J.R.R. Tolkien. What was the name of this informal literary discussion group? What name did they go by? How did they refer to themselves? I have another ask for a bit of clarification. The Austen Project question was 2013, the modern reworking of a Jane Austen novel. Okay, now if you're all ready to move forward, we'll go on to the next round. And remember, you can still have a wee bit of fun guessing how many metres from Carfax Tower to St Hilda's College Library. I suppose it depends how sober you are. I mean, if you are weaving along the high, it might be a little bit further than the straight line as the crow flies. But of course, none of you would know anything about that. The second round is the picture round. Hurrah! And the picture round is also the history round. And you're going to see some pictures, and there will be questions relating to the pictures. So here we go with the first picture. And this is the first round. Sorry, the first picture. Sorry, the first question in round 2. And the picture here is the library extension. And this is the opening of the library extension. As you can see, it wasn't yesterday, but there might possibly be some faces that you recognise here, which might give you a clue. In which year was the library extension first opened? It now forms the main part of the St Hilda's College Library, but it was originally an extension. What year was it opened in? We'll give you a point if you're within 2 years. Some great hats there. Let's move on now to the second question. You may have noticed one of these or more in the previous picture, but here's a close-up. When the library was built, it said that the architect brought in more urns than the college wanted or it could afford. How many urns are there in the library? How many urns are there at the college library today? Within 2. I'll give you 2 either way. Rather tasteful, I think. And possibly an indication of period for the first question. So, following on from the urns, question 3. These images were both taken at the same event, though not obviously in the same year. On the left, we have 1922, and on the right, we have 2008. This is the event at which students formally enter the university. But what's it called? What's the name of the event pictured here at which students formally enter the university? Now, the next image is an absolute corker. This is fire training taking place outside St Hilda's College South building. But in which year was this image taken? The outfits that people are wearing might give you a small clue. And again, we'll give you points if you're within 2 years. Fire training outside South building. What year did that happen in? On now to question 5 and picture number 5. Which author is depicted in this painting by former St Hilda's principal Mary Beale? The library also holds early editions of some of her works, and there's a picture of one of them. This painting was by the former St Hilda's principal Mary Beale. The library also holds early editions of some of her works, but which author is it? I always remember the rhyme about Miss Buss and Miss Beale. Miss Buss and Miss Beale, Cupid's darts do not feel. How different from us, Miss Beale and Miss Buss. But then we should be grateful to them, for without them we wouldn't have St Hilda's. So, the next picture, number 6. A photograph of 2 women. It was taken in 1964 at the opening of Garden Building. Name either of the two women in this image. Two women, 1964, outside garden building at the opening of the building. Who are they? And number 7, a lovely wash basin. Now, these wash basins had a nickname, and historically they were a feature of most St Hilda's bedrooms. That nickname also features in the title of Stephen Fry's 1997 autobiography. But what is the name for the wash basin? What is the nickname for these wash basins that used to be historically a feature of most St Hilda's bedrooms and also feature in the title of Stephen Fry's 1997 autobiography? I don't think he ever used one in situ, I have to say. Question number 8. In what year did this team compete in University Challenge? Again, we'll give you a point for 2 years either side. In what year did this team compete in University Challenge? With, of course, Bamber Gascoigne as Quiz Inquisitor. The next picture, picture number 9, this shows the west side of the college library, which has views over the river and the city. To which college does the tower in the image belong? This is a view from the west side of the college library, which has wonderful views over the river and the city. To which college does the tower in this image belong? And the final question in this round goes with the final picture in this round. Can you guess the year of this image? St Hilda's science students displaying their equipment. Again, a point if you're within 2 years of the St Hilda's science students displaying their equipment. What year do you think this was? Scarily, at least one of those women looks like someone I was up with. So again, if there's any questions you would like to have repeated or any images you'd like to see again, please tell us in the chat. Otherwise, you can finalize your answers and submit your forms. If you're all happy now, we shall move on. But apparently not everyone is happy. I'm sorry about that. Okay. Can we look again at number 1, picture number 1? The question here is, this is the library extension, which now forms the main part of the college library. In which year was it first opened? Again, a point if you're within 2 years. What year was this picture taken of the opening of the library extension? It's now the main part of the library. I hope no one's using face recognition software in an attempt at cheating. Now, I think people wanted to see number 6 again, is that right? Okay, this was the opening of garden building. Sorry, which question? Oh, sorry, confused here. Question number 6, yes. This was the opening of garden building. There are 2 women at the front of the picture. You may know some of the women in the background, but you don't get a bonus mark for that. Which of the, you get a point for naming one of the 2 women, either of the 2 women who are in this photograph. From the year that garden building was opened. And I think we also have a request for number 8 again, please. Thank you. This was St Hilda's. No, this isn't number 8. Yes, it is number 8. Sorry. I'm confused with my questions list here. Sorry. This wouldn't happen on University Challenge. In what year did this team compete in University Challenge? What was the year that this team competed in University Challenge? And again, a point if you're within 2 years. And a request now for a repeat of question 4. Slide number 4, please. Here we have the firefighting. This is the fire training taking place outside St Hilda's College South building. But in which year was this image taken? Take a look at the close. What year was this image taken in of fire training taking place outside St Hilda's College South building? Is everybody happy with that now? Okay. My producer is telling me that we can go on. I'm going to give you the answers now to round 1 literature questions. So, which St Hilda's alumna did Philip Larkin describe as the most underrated writer of the 20th century? It was, of course, Barbara Pym, whose life and work is celebrated annually via the college at the Barbara Pym Society. Number 2, at the recent St Hilda's virtual garden party, Sir Philip Pullman confirmed which Oxford College inspired St Sophia's in his Dark Materials series. Which college was it? And the inspirational college was Lady Margaret Hall. Which St Hilda's alumna, this is question 3, which St Hilda's alumna and multi-award winning author sets many of her books in Greece, including The Island and Those Who Are Loved? And the answer to that is Victoria Hislop. Question number 4. Bibliol and Cardinal colleges appear in Jude the Obscure, 19th century novel. Bibliol and Cardinal, Jude the Obscure. Number 5. A lost work by which Spanish artist is the subject of The Vanishing Man by alumna Laura Cumming? And the answer to that is Velázquez. A lost work by Velázquez is the one that's the subject of The Vanishing Man by Laura Cumming. Number 6. In 2013, St Hilda's Honorary Fellow wrote a modern reworking of a Jane Austen novel for the Austen Project. The novel was Northanger Abbey, and the author was me, Val McDermid. And if you got that question wrong, you're disqualified. That's a joke. It's a joke, really. It's a joke. Honestly, it's a joke. Number 7, question number 7. Which children's author is buried in Holywell Cemetery? And that is Kenneth Grahame, author, of course, of The Wind in the Willows. Question number 8. In 2017, St Hilda's alumna Bethany Hughes published a book with the subtitle A Tale of Three Cities. But which singular city is the book about? It is, of course, about Istanbul. Question number 9. What was the name of the informal literary discussion group associated with the University of Oxford in the 30s and 40s, whose members included C.S. Lewis, Adam Fox, and J.R.R. Tolkien. They were known as the Inklings. And question number 10. Which St Hilda's alumna is famous for writing Sexual Politics, published in 1970? And the answer to that is Kate Millett. I don't know if any of you remember Anne Elliot, who was an English fellow for many years, but I always thought it was one of the most astonishing twists of fate that Anne Elliot was the PhD supervisor, DPhil supervisor rather, for the thesis that later became Sexual Politics. I could not imagine two women with less in common, and yet they both spoke highly of each other and of the experience of working together. So, round one score update, which I'm waiting to hear, is okay. The early joint leaders with 8 points are Fenella Runyon Cringe and C&A, closely followed by Claire Hames, the Lisbon Lizards, and On My Own, all on 7 points. That's a very creditable start. 8 points, we've got Fenella Runyon Cringe and C&A, closely followed by Claire Hames, the Lisbon Lizards, and On My Own, all on 7 points. You guys are smart. I don't know if I'd done that well. Okay, so here we go with round 3, which is about music and sound. The final 3 questions in this round, by the way, will involve sound clues, so you don't have to listen to me all the way through this round. The first question, music and sound, is the performance at St Hilda's. I'll start that again. The performance venue at St Hilda's is named after Jacqueline du Pré. Which instrument is she famous for playing? Which instrument did Jacqueline du Pré play? Second question in round 3. Which music venue and pub in Walton Street played an important part in the early careers of the bands Supergrass and Radiohead? Which music venue and pub in Walton Street played an important part in the early careers of the bands Supergrass and Radiohead? Question number 3. Which music venue on the Iffley Road has this season played host to Roderick Williams, Jess Gillum, and St Hilda's College Come and Sing? Which music venue on the Iffley Road has this season played host to Roderick Williams, Jess Gillum, and St Hilda's College Come and Sing? Question number 4. Which comedian who studied music at St Hilda's had a regular spot on the BBC's MASH report and recently became renowned for her lockdown lip sync battles on Twitter? Which comedian who studied music at St Hilda's had a regular spot on the BBC's MASH report and recently became renowned for her lockdown lip sync battles on Twitter? Question number 5. Which St Hilda's music alumna composed works including The Hidden Landscape and The Crimson Bird? The college holds the archive of her mother, Elizabeth McConkie, the first woman to chair the Composers Guild of Great Britain. Which St Hilda's music alumna composed works including The Hidden Landscape and The Crimson Bird? The college holds the archive of her mother, Elizabeth McConkie, the first woman to chair the Composers Guild of Great Britain. Question number 6. Which composer, conductor, and alumnus of Christ Church composed the theme tune for the television shows Red Dwarf, Mr. Bean, and The Vicar of Dibley? Which composer, conductor, and alumnus of Christ Church composed the theme tune for the television shows Red Dwarf, Mr. Bean, and the Vicar of Dibley. It's going to go round my head for the rest of the evening. Question number 7. After which legendary princess and abbess is Oxford's Girls' Chorister Choir, founded in 2014, named? After which legendary princess and abbess is Oxford's Girls' Chorister Choir, founded in 2014, named? So the final 3 questions, as I say, involve a sound clue. St Hilda's archive houses a remarkable collection of sound recordings where former students reminisce about their time at the college. The final questions in this round are based on extracts from these reminiscences. You're going to hear the real voices of the alumni. So question number 8, talking about her time as an undergraduate in the 1920s, what activity do you think this alumna is describing?
4 of us went quite a long time. Crept out first thing in the morning, but for some unknown reason we were very shy about it.
There you go. Would you like to hear that again? I suspect you would. Perhaps you could let us have that again, Jill.
4 of us went quite a long time. Crept out first thing in the morning, but for some unknown reason we were very shy about it.
So, what activity do you think she was describing that they crept out of college in the morning and were shy about? Question number 9. A student who was up in 1914 recalls there were only 2 options for women's sport at that time. She chose hockey. What do you think the other option was? We've hidden it in the clip, by the way.
What other sports did you go
You
for?
could choose between hockey and I did that because I'd played both.
So in 1914, you could choose between hockey and what other sport?
What other sports did you go
You
for?
could choose between hockey and I did that because I'd played both.
Wonder what sport that was. So, question number 10. Which Shakespeare play is this alumna describing? It was staged by Ouds in 1933, featured music from Felix Mendelssohn, and was made into a film in 1935.
On South Park there, when the bottom and all of them were assembling for their rehearsal, the light was just going, and right in the distance, little lanterns and calling to each other as they came. Oh, we could, none of us forget that, nor could Ouds, because Max Reinhardt spent every penny that the Westminster Bank would lend them.
Let's hear that one again, please. Just for the sheer...
On South Park there, when the bottom and all of them were assembling for their rehearsal, the light was just going, and right in the distance, little lanterns and calling to each other as they came. Oh, we could, none of us forget that, nor could Ouds, because Max Reinhardt spent every penny that the Westminster Bank would lend them.
So, what Shakespeare play is this alumna describing? Staged by Ouds in 1933, music from Mendelssohn, made into a film in 1935, just about bankrupted the Oxford University Dramatic Society. Would anyone like anything repeated from this music and sound round? And while you're thinking about that, there's a wee bonus question for you. What's the oldest printed book in St Hilda's College Library? Have a guess. How old is the oldest printed book in St Hilda's College Library? What year was it printed in? And while you're thinking about that, I will give you the answers for round 2, the history round, the picture round. Question 1, the library extension opening, which now forms the main part of the library. It was first opened in 1935. A point if you're within 2 years of that. 1935. Question 2. How many of these lovely urns are in the library? Again, you can have 2 either way, but there's only 4 of them in the library. 4 of these lovely urns. Picture number 3. This is the 1922 and the 2008 matriculation. And question number 4. This is the fire training taking place outside South Building, and it was taken in 1942. So you've got a good chance there to be within 2 years of that, I would think. 1942 for the fire training. Question number 5. Which author is depicted in this painting by former St Hilda's principal Mary Beale? The library also holds early editions of some of her works, and that was, of course, the extraordinary Aphra Behn. Number 6. Can you name either of the 2 women in this image from 1964 at the opening of Garden Building? On the right is Kathleen Major, the principal of the college, after whom the library is now named. And on the left, some insignificant woman called Princess Margaret. So that's Princess Margaret and Kathleen Major at the opening of Garden Building. Question number 7. This wash basin had a nickname. It was historically a feature of most of the St Hilda's bedrooms, and it also features in the title of Stephen Fry's 1997 autobiography, Moab is My Washpot. And that is, of course, St Hilda's Moab. The answer to question number 8. This team competed in University Challenge in 1965. That's 1965, they were in University Challenge. Question number 9. There's a lovely image, that lovely view across the meadows to the tower of Merton College. That's Merton, you can see in the distance there through the roundel in the window. And final question in this round, the final picture in the picture round. Can you guess the year of this image? St Hilda's science students displaying their equipment. This was in 1896. 1896. So let's see how we're doing now after the picture round. Is there going to be a change on the leaderboard? And answer to bonus question number 1, just for fun, how many steps from Carfax to St Hilda's library is 1,127. 1,127 meters, sorry, not steps, from Carfax Tower to St Hilda's College Library. Give yourselves a big pat on the back and another cocktail if you were anywhere near that. Round 2, we've got strong answers from Sandra Margulies and the archivist, both at the top on 8 points. And the joint leaders after 2 rounds are Sandra Margulies, Fenella Runyon Cringe, and C&A. So, onwards to the final round, which is general knowledge. Have you got your forms? Are you ready? Splendid. Which Oscar-nominated actress's father owns several Oxford businesses, including Coco Cafe and Casbar on the Cowley Road? She's an Oxford-nominated actress, but her father owns several Oxford businesses, including Coco Cafe and Casbar on the Cowley Road. Question 2, general knowledge. Oxford time, still used by some of the colleges. How different is it from Greenwich Mean Time? What's Oxford time, still used by some of the colleges? Question number 3. John Brooks, after whom Oxford Brookes is named, was an accomplished artist and craftsman, but in which craft was he trained? John Brooks, after whom Oxford Brookes is named, was an accomplished artist and craftsman, but in which craft was he trained? Question number 4. The story of Alice in Wonderland features characters inspired by people known to Alice Liddell. The White Rabbit is supposedly based on her father, and the Red Queen on her governess. Upon whom is the Dodo thought to be based? The story of Alice in Wonderland features characters inspired by people known to Alice Liddell. The White Rabbit is supposedly based on her father, and the Red Queen on her governess. Upon whom is the Dodo thought to be based? Question number 5. Which creature is hunted, and hunted here is in inverted commas, which creature is hunted at All Souls College in a ceremony that takes place every 100 years? Once a century, All Souls has a hunt, but what's the creature that it hunts? Question number 6. Which 2 animals stand on either side of Oxford's coat of arms? What are the 2 animals that flank Oxford's coat of arms? Question number 7. Which athlete and neurologist ran the first sub-4-minute mile at the Iffley Road track in May 1954? That's one person, by the way, athlete and neurologist. Who ran the first sub-4-minute mile at the Iffley Road track in May 1954? Question number 8. What name is given to part of the university parks, but it's more commonly used to describe a historic area of the Middle East bordered by the Tigris and Euphrates rivers? What name is given to part of the university parks, a name that's more commonly used to describe a historic area of the Middle East bordered by the Tigris and Euphrates rivers? Question number 9. In the winter of 2010, several Oxford police officers were reprimanded for undertaking a particular activity at Boars Hill. What were they doing? In the winter of 2010, several Oxford police officers were reprimanded for undertaking a particular activity at Boars Hill. What were they doing? And the final question, number 10. Before William Morris made cars, what did he make? What did William Morris make before he made cars? Does anyone want any questions repeated? Okay, how are we all doing? If you've all submitted your forms, then I will give you the answers to round 3. So, round 3, music and sound. The performance venue at St Hilda's is named after Jacqueline du Pré, and of course she is famous for playing the cello. Jacqueline du Pré was a famous cellist. Question 2. Which music venue and pub in Walton Street played an important part in the early careers of the bands Supergrass and Radiohead? And the pub in question is the Jericho Tavern. Number 3. Which music venue on the Iffley Road has this season played host to Roderick Williams, Jess Gillam and St Hilda's College Come and Sing? And the answer is the SJE Arts. We can also accept St John the Evangelist Arts. Question 4. Which comedian who studied music at St Hilda's had a regular spot on the BBC's MASH report and recently became renowned for her lockdown lip sync battles on Twitter? And the answer to that, of course, was Rachel Paris. Which St Hilda's music alumna composed works including The Hidden Landscape and The Crimson Bird? The college holds the archive of her mother, Elizabeth McConkie, the first woman to chair the Composers Guild of Great Britain, and that was Nicola Lifanu. Question 6. Which composer, conductor, and alumnus of Christchurch composed the theme tune for the television shows Red Dwarf, Mr. Bean, and The Vicar of Dibley? And that was Howard Goodall. Question number 7. After which legendary princess and abbess is Oxford's Girls' Chorister Choir, founded in 2014, named? And the answer is Frydeswyde. And we will accept Frithuswyth. Frydeswyde or Frithuswyth. You just put that one in to make it hard for me, didn't you? Question number 8 comes from the Sound Archive. Talking about her time as an undergraduate in the 1920s, this alumna, getting up in the morning shyly, creeping out of college, was talking about rowing. Number 9, also from the Sound Archive. In 1914, there were only 2 options for women's sport. One was hockey, and the other one was lacrosse. Number 10 from the Sound Archive. The Shakespeare play that was being described here was, of course, A Midsummer Night's Dream. So let's have a couple of seconds while we get the results from this. And I'm being told that round 3 featured again strong performances from C&A and On My Own with 8 points each. 8 points too to Nil Desperandum. But the runaway winner of round 3 with 9 points is Jean. And I'm asked for a last round question 5 repeat. Let me find my bit of paper. Here we go. Question 5 in the last round was, which creature is hunted? And hunted is in quotation marks, like that. Which creature is hunted once a century at All Souls College? Ceremony that takes place every 100 years is a sort of hunt. What's the creature involved? So the overall scores so far are in 3rd place with 20 points, South 44. Strong showings in all rounds. In 2nd place with 21 points, Fenella Runyon Cringe. First with 22 points, C&A. It's very close. It's anybody's game at this point. It all comes down to that crucial general knowledge round. So, are we ready for the answers to the general knowledge round? Has everyone handed their forms in? Suspense is killing me. Music round question 5, please. Okay. Which St Hilda? We've had the answer to that already. We've had the answer to question 5 in the music round. We've done the music and sound answers. And the answer was Nicola Lifanu. Are we ready to have the answers to round 4? You can't get the staff these days, you really can't. This. The answer, please. Yes, go. Okay. On we go with round 4. These crucial answers that will decide the winner of the St Hilda's quiz. So, question 1. Which Oscar-nominated actress's father owns several Oxford businesses, including Cocoa Cafe and Caspar on the Cowley Road? And the answer is Florence Pugh. Second question. Oxford time, still used by some of the colleges, is different from Greenwich Mean Time, but how different is it? And the answer is it's 5 minutes later. I'm not quite sure how that works, but that's what I'm told is the answer. Third question. John Brooks, after whom Oxford Brookes is named, was an accomplished artist and craftsman, but in which craft was he trained? He was in fact a silversmith. Question number 4. The story of Alice in Wonderland features creatures inspired by people known to Alice Liddell. The White Rabbit is based on her father and the Red Queen on her governess. The Dodo is thought to be based on the author himself, Lewis Carroll. Number 5. The creature that is hunted at All Souls College in a ceremony that takes place every 100 years is a mallard. We will accept duck, but it's a mallard. Don't ask me, they're a bit strange at All Souls. Question number 6. The 2 animals that stand on either side of Oxford's coat of arms are an elephant and a green beaver, or if you prefer the formal description, elephant ermine's eared argent tusked or collared and lined or, and a beaver vert, its tail barry wavy azure and argent ducally gorged and lined or. I'll accept elephant and green beaver. Question number 7. The athlete, who was also a neurologist, who ran the first sub 4-minute mile at the Iffley Road track was, of course, Roger Bannister. What name is given to the part of the university parks that's more commonly used to describe a historic area of the Middle East bordered by the Tigris and Euphrates rivers? And the answer is Mesopotamia. Question number 9 in the final round. In the winter of 2010, several Oxford police officers were reprimanded for undertaking a particular activity at Boars Hill. What were they doing? They were sledging. They were sliding down the hill on the riot shields. And the final question in St Hilda's Quiz 2020. Before William Morris made cars, what did he make? He made bicycles. So we'll be totting up the scores, and I'll give you the answer to the fun question, the bonus question. The oldest printed book in St Hilda's College Library is Gualtherus Burleus's Expositio in Artem Veteram Porphyriae et Aristotelis, printed in Venice on the 8th of July, 1488. So we got a book in the library that was printed in 1488, and it was left to the college by Dorothea Beale, its founder. So, are we ready for the final scores on the doors? Bated breath here. I knew I should have gone for a gin instead of a water. Apparently, Deb Fisher guessed 1490 for the book, only 2 years out, which is quite frankly astonishing, I think. Well done, Deb. So now we come to the moment of truth, the overall scores. In joint third place on 26 points, South 44 and Fenella Runyon Cringe. In second place, C&A with 27 points. But the winner, after a great final round, with 29 points, was On My Own. Well done, On My Own. Do we have an identity for On My Own? Do we know who this is? So we can sing their names from the rooftops tonight. Apparently we don't. But anyway, wherever you are on your own, they're not telling who they are. You did brilliantly. I would not have come anywhere close to that on this quiz. It was a really tough one. So thank you all for coming along and giving us your time and sharing this evening with us. I hope you enjoy lots of other things during the college's week of community events. Already, I'm told the most popular event in town is watching Chef Gary teaching us how to make eggs Benedict. But there's lots of interesting things coming along to stimulate the mind. And I hope you're all going to enjoy this week and carry on supporting the college as you do throughout the year and throughout the years. Thanks for coming and have a great rest of the evening.